cosy in your bedroom, Mug.
Sorry. Yeah, I know.
Your setup is so cosy.
It's funny because in the first episode I was literally wearing a blazer, and now now I'm basically in my pajamas. So how things evolve.
We're getting more and more casual.
Literally, I'm turning more into a grandma.
We're going to be in the pajamas next time.
I pretty much am. Hello! That didn't take long. Okay. I've got a little
We're basically
setup.
just getting better friends, and we're just getting more relaxed around each other.
You're
extension free.
Yeah, you're seeing my hair. Yeah, this is a lot. If anyone's like, whoa, what happened to Amy's hair? Nothing. This is what happens when you don't do anything to Amy's hair. I feel like actually we should address the elephant in the room, which is that we're recording this late. You can. I'll give that one to you.
You can talk about that then. We're saying that as if anyone's probably going to even notice that we've recorded it late.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, so just think. Yeah, I feel like the point of this podcast when we started it was to like take away the smoke and mirrors of being a content creator. The everything is perfect all the time. It's easy. It was just to bring a little bit of like reality to this space and make people feel a little bit less lonely rather. And so in the spirit of like embodying that, I've just had I've struggled a bit this week. I've just had just so much going on, and I definitely fall victim to overwhelm. I'm quite an anxious person at times, and I feel like it hit me like a train, especially today. And that's okay. But it's definitely impacted, my work this week. And also, like, I think people forget, like, if you have a full-time job, you maybe go to an office and someone says, can you come and do this? You say, no, I'm working from 9 to 5. When you're self-employed, you have that little bit more flexibility, and it's up to you and your own self-discipline to kind of set your boundaries. But equally, when you have people in your life who are really important to you, who need something from you, and you have that flexibility, personally, like, I'm always going to give it, but I'm really bad at like protecting my own boundaries for my own work. I don't know. Do you ever feel like that? Do you ever just like completely neglect your own stuff? I don't know. I struggled with it a bit this week.
Yeah. I mean, I was absolutely shattered last night, and I was still replying to a brand at 10 p.m. Just
boundaries?
Because I felt like I had to. I know. I don't know them.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, so no, totally get it.
Yeah, it's just been a lot, but it's all good. And I've been in London this week, spending some really nice time with my friend, which was really important. I saw some friends who I hadn't seen in like 2 years the other day, or the weekend, which was just like amazing. I've got lots of like nice things going on in my life, and just didn't quite find the balance this week. And we go again tomorrow. Anyway, more importantly, now that I've spoken for about an hour, how was your week?
My week it's actually been fine. It's that time in the month where women will understand me when I say, like, I've just got nothing left in me. Today I've been eating and eating and eating and eating. It's just been that time of the month. Mother Nature is due. Yeah. I've got nothing, like, I've got no energy. And like, it's just hit me like a ton of bricks, but it's fine. So I've been like overwhelmed, but not with anything life-wise, just hormones.
But I feel like people don't really talk about that enough, because, and I've spoken to other creators in this space who are like, that week of the month, like, I have to see it coming. I have to think about it in advance and plan my work around it, because like nothing's happening that week. I can't do anything. And I think we just don't talk about it. And not even just in content creation, like just as a society, like you just, I feel so sorry for you, because you just have a week kind of taken away from you. I say that just because I don't really experience that, but...
Well, I literally texted you, didn't I? And I was like, I had a full mentee bee. Like, I was texting, voice noting, I was like, Aimee, this is it. I'm a failure. Blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, false alarm, I'm due on in a week.
Yeah, literally. Then, and I hadn't listened to the voice notes yet because I was driving. And then before I'd had a chance to, I just get a text you saying, false alarm. And I was like, oh, okay, I don't even need to listen to the voice notes. They'll just be having a breakdown.
Been a week, but it's been fine. Other than that, nothing really to report on.
Fantastic. Fabulous. Well, look at us. Look at us fully functioning productive boss bitch ladies this week.
Yeah, we're thriving.
Yeah, in our smart podcast gear. Love that. Love that. Anyway, we should probably get cracking with the episode because last week's intro was so long, and I've watched it back 100 times, and it was so chaotic, but I kind of loved it.
Yeah, I feel like you need to introduce this week's topic though.
Yeah, fair. Okay, well, welcome back to episode 3 of the Real Edit podcast. We made it this far. 3 episodes. Thank you once again for all of the beautiful support and messages, and we just had some just another week of amazing feedback, haven't we? Luna is particularly excited about it. No, we have genuinely we've had some really gorgeous feedback. We've had some opportunities start coming up for us, which we just never really expected would be a thing.
So exciting though.
Yeah,
I
so
keep going to say it to someone and I'm like, no, I'm not doing it yet. I'm not doing it. I'm not jinxing it.
Yeah, we're going to be the next, what's the massive podcast called Our Daddy? We're going to be the next 60 mil podcast deal.
Yeah.
Anyway, this week's topic. We weren't actually planning on making this a whole episode, but about a week, 2 weeks ago now, I posted a reel on my Instagram, and it was the reel that I kind of referred to in last week's podcast. And it was all about how I've been struggling a little bit with the kind of social media space. At the moment, there's a bit of a vibe in the air. It all feels a bit strange, and I was just struggling with it. Anyway, I posted this reel, knowing that it would resonate with some people. Like I said to you, I think it's important that we put this out. But it just kind of blew up in the best way possible. And I was just inundated with messages, voice notes, video messages, all sorts of people just sharing their similar thoughts and feelings. I just had some really beautiful conversations, and obviously Aimee was looking at all of them too. And it just became very apparent to me that we should maybe sit down and chat about it some more, because I feel like it really blew me away, the reaction. I was pretty much glued to my phone all day, just getting back to people. And yeah, so social media, just a strange place to be at the moment, and I think we should probably talk about it some more.
Yeah, I feel like the responses that you showed me were actually kind of upsetting, that so many people related to it, because it is supposed to be such an inspiring place, and if we're all feeling the same way, we need to make a change. I
think the resounding response from people was, thank you for saying what we're all feeling. Yeah. It's just interesting, isn't it, when one person kind of speaks their truth, and then you realise actually that's how everyone's feeling underneath it all, and you kind of suspect it, but then suddenly you have this flood of messages. And I had a lot of people kind of messaging me and saying, oh, thank you so much for posting this really resonated. And it was just a really strange one to navigate, because it was kind of I'm so pleased that it resonates, but at the same time, because obviously you want to know that the content you're putting out speaks to people. But on the flip side, it was I'm really sorry that this resonates, because it's not a particularly positive topic, or a particularly, do you know what I'm trying to say? It was a really weird, bittersweet feeling that it did resonate with so many people.
Yeah, it was you being vulnerable at the end of the day, and the fact that everyone else was relating to it was almost the perfect response to it, in the sense that it comforted you.
Which is so weird in itself, right? I feel bad, yay, so do other people, that makes me feel better. Yeah. It wasn't like that, but to be okay, I'm not crazy, I'm not. Yeah. Because it's so easy, isn't it, to misread things and to build things up in your head, and it was just nice to know that actually
it just validated your feelings.
Yeah, 100%. That's exactly what it did. And just made me even more confident in what we're doing here with this podcast, because this was that reel was an embodiment of exactly what we want to achieve with this, which is to talk about the real, the reality of being in this space, and to take away the kind of, as I said earlier, the smoke and mirrors and the facade, and to have discussions we're just a group of girlfriends or friends in the office, and just talk about it and lift each other back up. And that's what we're supposed to be doing here. And it just made me so much more confident and so much more sure that what we're doing here is right, and that we can have these discussions, and we should have these discussions. So it was really positive in a number of ways, and just kind of took me back a bit.
Yeah, and I think it is a really good topic for us to cover now, because there's so many. Luna feels passionately.
I don't know.
Yeah, there's so many new creators.
Sorry.
I've completely forgot what I was going to say.
Sorry.
There's so many new creators that are going to be coming online into this space that's not necessarily what it used to be. I think if I was starting UGC now, like the online space would almost put me off a little bit.
Yeah, and that in itself is madness, because we're responsible for creating this space. Like this space is whatever we make it. And so it's fascinating to me that you can be part of the problem that's hurting you so much. You can be putting out this aspirational, beautiful content, and it is beautiful content. I love making it myself. I've never sat here and said I'm not part of the problem. But it can really hurt and demotivate, and just catch you in this kind of comparison cycle that you're constantly feeling the need to feed into. It's just mad. Like we're completely responsible for making the space whatever we want it to be, and we're making it something that is hurting us all. And I just find that quite interesting.
If you haven't seen Aimee's reel yet, you should definitely go and watch that first, because this probably won't make any sense otherwise. And I think she's pinned it on her page.
Yeah.
But I think from my point of view, it just feels like social media has become one big competition, because like we pride ourselves on being such a friendly and supportive community, which in some ways we definitely are. But I do also think that if it was an office environment or even a friendship group, like it wouldn't necessarily be a comfortable one at the moment.
No. If it was an office environment, it would probably be quite a toxic one. It's really difficult, because it's really difficult to have this conversation without sounding like you're trying to be mean. That's really not what I'm trying to do at all. I don't think when people watch the reel that's what they thought at all. I feel like social media, we're kind of split into two camps. On one hand, you've got those people who genuinely want to motivate and inspire and say, look what I've done. You can do it too. Like, this is possible for you. And that's beautiful. When it comes from that place and with that intention, that's really incredible. And I think you can feel it. I think you can feel it in someone's content, that intention. On the other hand, you've got people putting out that same content where you can feel the intention is rooted elsewhere. And it feels to me, and to a lot of people, it turns out, like it's maybe meant to brag, or it's meant to make them appear better than. And I think the difficulty with social media is that you actually can't verify those claims. So there are those claims going around saying, I've worked with X many brands this month. I've worked with 30 brands this month. I made £10,000. And maybe you did, in which case, smashed it. Love that for you.
Yeah.
But also, maybe you didn't. I don't know. You know, I made £10,000. Show me your bank statement. Like, you don't know. You don't know. And so I think sometimes I'm seeing a lot of content right now, and I look at it and I think, I don't believe you. And that's not because I'm jealous, and it's not because it makes me feel inferior. It's because I think maybe because I'm a bit of a grandma, you know, I'm coming up to 30, and I just look at things through a different lens. But I also know that, you know, if I was 22, 23, 24 in this space, seeing those numbers and these claims, knowing who I was and how I dealt with that sort of thing at that age, which sounds really patronising, because that's that age. Do you know what I'm trying to say? I just know it's taken me a long time to get this kind of sense of self-assurance, and I just know that if I was younger and looking at those reels and that content, I'd be feeling a lot crapper about myself.
Yeah, and that's like a big point, is there are a lot of new creators in the space at the moment, and I have seen so many videos in the past literally few days of just them feeling disheartened because they've seen creators doing so well and they're not necessarily doing that. They could only be a couple of days into their journey, but there is content out there. It's like, I've made £10,000 in my first week, and it's like, did you? Like, how much work did that actually take? Or like, do you know what I mean? Like, what are you classing as in that 10k?
100%.
So I feel like it is disheartening, and it does put us in this repetitive cycle of like just constantly comparing yourself, which we all feel. And I know that there are creators out there that are going to feel so disheartened and so just like let down in themselves, I suppose, because they're not achieving that. But when actually, like, kind of what you spoke about in episode 1 is you really have to be selective about who you put on a pedestal. And this isn't about putting people down or like talking badly about other creators, but it is about like keeping your eyes open, because not everything is real. And it's our responsibility to protect ourselves and not necessarily believe and absorb everything we see online, because at the end of the day, social media is a highlight reel. That is the whole point of it. Like, in people's personal lives and professional lives, like, they don't post the bad side, do they? So I think that's why it's really important that we need to talk about it.
100%. And it's not only a highlight reel, but it's it's like an unverified highlight reel.
Yeah.
So, you know, our job is, and you like summed this up perfectly. Episode 1, you said in the context of digital guides and kind of digital products, you said if you're a UGC creator and your job is to market products and services, you are very capable of marketing yourself. And I understand that ultimately we are all competitor businesses. We're not all here to be best friends as much as some people would love for us to be. That's not necessarily the case for everyone. Totally fine. My issue here really lies with content that's put out to brag and to make someone look better, but under this like false facade of motivational, inspirational content. That's what annoys me. And I do think that I do think it sticks out like a sore thumb. And I think ultimately, as you said, it's our responsibility to take full accountability of our use of social media and the boundaries that we implement. Because like you said, if this was an office environment, it might well be quite an uncomfortable one. And it's your responsibility to remove yourself from that environment. And I think I said this in the reel, and if I didn't, I meant to. And that is to say, if you have a creator on your feed who makes you feel like crap, even if it's me, unfollow me. Get me gone. Because that, number one, that's not my intention. So I don't want you to feel that way. Please cut me off your feed. You don't need to see me if that's how I make you feel. But number two, because you can't sit there and moan, but continue to actively engage with that. But like, remove. Yeah, that doesn't help anyone. You have to be responsible for your own boundaries, and that's so important. So you're right.
Yeah, 100%. And I think because we're so constantly online, if we are filling our feeds with people that aren't necessarily inspiring us, like of course we're going to go on and we're going to be negative and like just take away no positives from it. Like it's just going to be a case of you log on, you see someone's doing this, and it's just going to make you feel crappy. When actually just cut it off. Like I recently went through and unfollowed a bunch of people, and it wasn't because I didn't like their content or anything like that. I just didn't resonate with it. And so now when I go onto my social media, I don't feel in any state of comparison or negativity or anything like that. And I think it's like, just take this, if you take one thing from this episode, digital detox, like get rid of anyone that doesn't inspire you, and it will honestly benefit you more than you realise.
And they say like you're the result, or you're the product of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Well, why don't you view your business as a product of the 5 creators that you are most heavily influenced by? You know, so when I log on, and I've said all the way through, this isn't about not being able to celebrate your wins. If I log on and Created by Aimee has made a reel about all of the incredible opportunities she got this week and all of the money she made and all of the opportunities she's getting and the things she's doing with that money, I'm reposting it. I'm sending her a voice note. I'm loving it. I'm feeling motivated. Oh my God, that's so cool. I can do that too. Go, go, go. But sometimes I will log on and I'll see a kind of a reel of that same nature. And the intention reads different to me. Whether that was their intention or not, it reads different, and it doesn't fill me with joy. It makes me feel demotivated, feel flat, and whether or not that was their intention, it's how it's made me feel. Therefore, it's my job to either address whatever's going on here that makes me feel that way, or remove. You know, protect my own space.
Yeah, you think about like who you follow as like your friends. If you had a friend that was like making you feel a certain way, you would cut them off. So these are people online that you don't necessarily know. So like, why do you feel stronger about following them than necessarily someone in your real life, if that makes sense? And I feel like how we're wording this is making it sound like unfollow everyone. Like we're in this alone. We're not at all. This is such a supportive community, and we do really pride ourselves on that. And I feel like that's something to be proud of, because there are so many lovely creators in the space. Like I've made real friends through it. And like there are so many positives to come of it. I just think we really want to make a point of like, not everything is real. That's all. Like,
yes, yeah, you're so right. That is the bottom point. Not everything you see is real. That is literally that's like the title of this episode. Just because someone told you they made 10K last month does not mean they made 10K last month. That's not me telling you they're lying, but it's me saying, keep your eyes open, think about it. It didn't. You don't know it happened, so don't let it impact you.
Yeah, 100%.
Let it inspire you, but don't let it negatively impact you.
Yeah, like don't, because I know from like first experience that seeing something like that can really deflate you. Like when I first went full time, I'm saying this like it was ages ago, it wasn't that long ago, but like in my first month I was just seeing so many people, even though it was so quiet for me, I was seeing people say, oh, it's been my busiest month, and I was like, oh, what am I doing wrong? Like, it does really get to you, but at the end of the day they might not actually be doing as well as they make out, but if they are, then great for them. It doesn't reflect on me as a creator, and I think, I just think we need to not let it get to us personally.
Yeah, and like you said earlier, if you had a friend who consistently made you feel poorly about yourself, you would be questioning whether or not that was the right person to have around you and in your life. If you had a co-worker or if you had a working environment where you were constantly surrounded by people who made you feel poorly about yourself, you'd probably question if that was the right work environment for you. It's very normal and it's very healthy, and we should really normalize this concept of self-regulating and kind of controlling our surroundings, and that includes nowadays it's not the people around us, it's the people a lot of the time on our feeds in front of us. That is our community, and we started at the same time. This community has massively changed, and that's okay. Things are always going to evolve and things are always going to change. But I just think we need to be very, very mindful that we are currently in the very early stages of UGC, and this community is brand new. Let's make it what we need it to be. Let's not make it something that hurts us more than helps us. I understand we're all competitive businesses. I get it. But I don't need to hurt you in order to... But there's room for all of us. And also, and as I said earlier, and if I do make you feel like crap about yourself, please get rid of me. Like, I don't want to do that to you. That's not my intention. Please just scrap me from your feed. I don't need to be there.
Yeah, at the end of the day, like, we are self-employed people, and the people online are technically our co-workers. So, like, it's the same as an office environment, in the sense of, like, you wouldn't let that affect you in an office. So why would you let it affect you in your own personal business? If anything, we need to be more careful because it's all riding on us.
Aimee, what was that teamwork thing you were talking to me about earlier?
So that, I think that's actually another thing. Like, we've always said that, I say every UGC creator knows that you don't need followers in order to get brand deals and get work.
Yeah, that was it.
But there is a trend on TikTok. I think it's just on TikTok at the moment. It could be on Instagram, I'm not sure. Where it's cool, like, you literally just comment on people's stuff saying teamwork just to grow your followers. And I feel like it just doesn't sit right with me, because I just think you're just going to fill your feed with people that don't inspire you. Like, going back to the thing of, like, why would you follow them if they don't bring you anything positive? Like, it's complete strangers on the internet, but like it is on social media. But I just, it just doesn't sit right with me that we're doing it as creators to build our following, when following doesn't matter, and also it's not authentic followers. They're just going to probably unfollow you once you follow them back anyway. So it's like this kind of toxic mindset that it's like you need more followers and like reassure yourself that way, when actually it's not relevant at all.
But that's just social media all over, right? Like, that's social media as a space in general. It's just, you're just seeking validation, whether or not we want to admit it or not. Every follower that goes up on your page makes you feel a certain way, and it's not a bad way. But you're right. Like, you want a feed of people who inspire you. Yeah. And like, that's such a beautiful way of looking at it. You want to open up your page and just have, like, for me, I just want to open up my feed and just see an abundance of people I respect and admire and think are good people, just smashing it. Like, that's what I want to see. Yeah. I love it. And like, there will be creators listening to this podcast who will tell you, I'll be the first person to send them a voice note. I've sent random cringy messages to people I have never spoken before, saying, I just want to let you know, I just saw this ad that you did, and I thought it was really beautiful, and like, you did a really good job. Yeah. I love that. let's do more of that. Like,
yeah,
why?
no, I was going to say,
feel so strongly
anything,
about
I would say that you're going to be the first person to like build someone up, and I would say I'm the same.
Oh yeah. No, honestly, if you haven't had I'm going to be a bit cringe here. If you haven't had the joy of meeting Created by Aimee with 3 E's, she is the most beautiful, calm, positive, uplifting, non-judgmental person, and there's a reason like we're doing this together, because I don't think anyone would be able to put up with me other than her. And no, truly, and I met her because of this platform, and because we're, like there are other people like that.
Yeah.
There are so many beautiful people in this space, and I want my feed to be full of them, and I want them all to be making way more money than me and getting way more better deals than me, because I'm just fine over here. I'm ticking along. I'm doing okay. Yeah. I want everyone else to be doing that. Do you know what I mean? Like that's what I want my feed to be. And I think we just have to remember that we are entirely responsible for making this the social media space that we want it to be, and protecting our own little corners of the internet. And I think that's as simple as it goes for me.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. I feel like this episode has literally just been you and I having a chat, having a heart-to-heart, and pressing record. Mm-hmm. So it's probably been a little bit rambly and a little bit all over the place. Mm-hmm. So, Aimee with the 3 E's, can you please, like, sum it up for us? What on earth have we been talking about this episode? What are the key takeaways? How do we sum up this conversation?
I guess what we're trying to say is, if you are feeling demotivated or insecure, uninspired, any of the above, then you just need to remember 3 things. And that is, 1, not everything you see is real. I'm not saying anyone's lying, but just take everything you see with a little pinch of salt. 2, you are the one that's responsible for protecting your own peace. And if that means unfollowing someone, then just do that. And also, within this point, I would say also look at why that's affecting you. If someone else's success is making you feel a little bit uncomfortable, I think maybe just think about why that's making you feel that way and what you can do to kind of figure that out. If content doesn't affect you in a positive way, just remove it. And 3, if you've been doing this job for 2 weeks, 2 years, you're still going to have weeks where you feel completely deflated. Like, we are prime examples of this. You are going to feel a bit rubbish about yourself, and it's not ever going to go away, because it's just like the nature of social media. So stop beating yourself up, take a step back and look at points 1 and 2 again, and then see what you can do about it. That's probably what I would take away from this episode.
And digital detox.
Oh, digital detox.
Because sometimes there is just nothing else to be done than to turn it off.
Yeah, 100%.
And walk away and remember that a world exists outside of your 960, you know?
No more doom scrolling.
And not good for anyone. And I often find that I'll watch the same piece of content before the digital detox and after the digital detox, and I will view it, and my feelings around it will be very different on each view.
Yeah, it's definitely
because
true.
I'm in a better headspace over here, so I can look at it with a more positive angle, and so that's on me.
Yeah,
you know?
100%.
I've got to protect my own peace.
Yeah, mindset is a big impact in it, to be fair. So yeah,
I feel like it's quite fitting that we've had our most like unfiltered, just genuine heart-to-heart conversation so far on this podcast, whilst in our jammies.
Yeah,
you know, because I also feel like the people who message us every single week, sorry, that was Luna shaking off the bad energy. I also feel like the people that are listening each week that we're hearing from the most are really going to appreciate this vibe. You know, like this is what we want. We just want to be that big sister, friend, colleague in your ear who's saying, girl, boy, like, I get it, I feel you, let's talk about it, we're all good, let's go again. You know, I think that's really lovely. We actually had a very odd conversation, and this is why me and Aimee are friends. I'm driving home today, I call her, should I say it?
I feel like people are going to think we're weird.
I'm going to say it anyway.
Go for it.
Oh no, that ship has sailed. That ship has sailed. I literally said to Aimee that if I die, I want to be pickled in sweet chili sauce. Like, that would be, like, what a stunning eternity.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I don't know if that's going to make it into the final edit, but it's there now. We do, however, have some more serious questions to answer that coming in from our fans.
Our global fans.
and I thought it would be fun if I just read them out to you.
Okay.
And get your answer off the cuff, and then I'll chime in as well. First
I'm scared.
question is, what is the hardest part about being a UGC creator that people don't see?
Probably the creative burnout.
Okay.
Because that can be a lot sometimes. Like if I don't have the creative juices flowing, nothing is happening. And it can, if I get to the point where I've done too much, I can sometimes struggle to get it back to.
Interestingly, sorry to interrupt you, another question is how do you deal with creative burnout?
I don't. I don't know how to answer that in a constructive way that would help anyone, because I am yet to find an answer. So if anyone knows how to deal with creative burnout, let me know.
Can I chime in on this one?
Yes.
I feel like my ideas come to me. The worst thing you can do is put me on the spot and say, come up with an idea. So I need to like remove myself and take myself away to a different environment, because inspiration really is everywhere with content. So I need to get off my TikTok. I need to get off my Instagram feed. I need to get out. I need to go for a walk. I need to go for a run. I need to see a friend for a coffee, whatever. The ideas will find me. Yeah. Because if you're a creative person, they just will. But you don't just sit in it and like try and find an idea. It's not coming.
Yeah, no, that's a very good point actually, because that was what we were talking about earlier. You know, when I called you and I was like, I need to come up with this idea. What do I do? Because I was just like sat forcing myself to come up with something, and then we came off the phone. I took a step out, like I was playing with the dog for a while, went back to it, and I was like, oh, let me do this, and like it just came to me from playing fetch. So
100%. Like the
my
inspiration was in that
tennis
we're all
ball.
creative people. Yeah, that was an inspiring tennis ball. We had a few questions about comparison, but I feel like we've talked about that a lot today. Okay, here's a good one. How do you stand out as a creator when there are so many amazing creators in the space?
I just say be true to yourself, and that's such like a cliche thing to say, but I just think no one else is you. So like if you have a unique personality or a unique style, play on that. And like we've had a couple of conversations recently where I'm like, I feel like my content's too like aesthetic or boring, and that's not actually intentional, but it just kind of, it's just what I create. And recently I've actually had brands reach out to me and specifically say, we love the aesthetic of your videos, we'd like you to create this. So actually don't question yourself, just like be true to kind of what you want to create. Yeah. And I feel like that's not really advice, because like that's kind of obvious, but also, and I just feel like don't copy would be another thing. By copying, that doesn't make you unique, and people are going to pick up on that. Yeah, I feel like that's not really advice, because it's kind of just obvious, but I would just say be true to who you are, and that will come across naturally anyway. What about you?
Yeah, really similar. I think the best bit of feedback I ever had from a brand owner, he said, I work with a lot of creators and no one is as passionate as you. And he was referring to like how I come across my videos, and I just like you said, just make content that makes you happy and just be yourself, because your energy is like, people can feel it. If it's authentic to you, people can feel it. And that one word that comes up time and time again for me in my life, in all areas of my life, is passionate. I'm a passionate person. People constantly feel it from me. Yeah. And from someone else, it will be warm, or it will be knowledgeable, or it will be engaging, or whatever they are, whatever your superpower is, like it will come across if you're being authentic to you, and the right people will see it and say, I need that energy in my content. And so I would really, really say, if you look at another creator and think, I love that about them, love it about them, and you don't need to be them. And the reason you love it is because it's authentic to them, and you can feel that authenticity to the screen. So whatever it is that you bring to the table, just lean into it. Yeah, 100%. If it's enthusiasm, like whatever it might be, do what feels right for you. Your energy, you will feel it through the screen, and people will be gravitated to it. And people will gravitate towards you. Yeah. So yeah, kind of similar, and a little bit, I guess, woo-woo, but I really feel it. I believe it.
Yeah, I feel like bottom line is, if you don't like what you're putting out, brands probably won't either. Like if it's not reflecting authenticity as the most used word in UGC, it's not like they're not gonna. Exactly. It's not got what they're looking for.
You're so right. I feel like that's enough questions today because we've rambled quite a bit. I'm not going to lie, a lot of these questions are about comparison, are about kind of social media. I think probably because of the conversation that kind of started with that reel last week. Yeah. And also you put up a reel, didn't you, that was very much about kind of the reality versus the more glamorized depiction of UGC.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's definitely guided some of these questions. But those were some good ones. Please send us in some more questions because I actually really enjoyed that. That was fun.
That was fun. It was a little bit nerve-wracking, but...
Yeah, put you on the spot a bit, sorry.
Yeah, I didn't even know we'd had questions.
Yeah, sorry. But that was fun. So yeah, any other questions or things you want to cover, please let us know because I now have the iPad of truth and this will guide our questions every week. So yeah, send them in and we will chat about it.
What a gorgeous episode. I'm looking forward to editing this one because I hope it comes across how we wanted it to. I think it's probably a slightly different tone to what we're going to be putting out, but also we want to show the real side as well. And a lot of people wanted to talk about this topic on your Instagram, so I feel like it's definitely a conversation that needs to be had.
I guess also we're still kind of finding our feet, aren't we? And we're not quite sure what style of podcast or what style of discussion people are going to enjoy the most. So I think it's quite fun that we're kind of putting out a few different types of episodes and seeing what lands best.
Yeah, definitely.
So hopefully this comes across, like you said, in the way that we wanted it to. Hopefully you feel like you've just been sat having a FaceTime chit chat with us because that's how we'd like for it to feel.
Yeah. I mean, if we don't like it, we'll just refilm it anyway because that's what we seem to do.
We're very good. The second take, let me tell you, the second take is fantastic each and every time. Yeah. So I look forward to re-recording this entire conversation with you, Aimee. I just like spending more time with you. I just want an excuse to chat to you more.
Do you know what? I appreciate it. So I think that concludes episode 3 of The Real Edit. I can't believe we're on episode 3 already.
I know.
But yeah, we will be here next week at the originally planned time at Thursday at 7 a.m. if Aimee doesn't do anything wrong.
Because we are going to have a more structured week this week. We're going to have a great week. We're going to shake off whatever's going on because there is something in the air. I will say that much.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
We're going to shake it off. We're going to have a great week.
Mercury in the microwave at the moment?
Mercury in the microwave. I've never heard that before.
I don't think it is it? I don't think it is.
I love
Maybe
that
it's just us.
so much.
It might just be us. Let me search. Is it Mercury in retrograde?
That's so funny. Also,
I just typed in a load of gibberish.
Can I also just address the elephant? Not the elephant. Can I also just shout out my tooth? Welcome back. We never officially welcomed her back to the podcast, but oh my gosh, she is well. She is well. She's happy to be here.
Tell a friend.
And shout out to my dentist, Mark. I know you're not watching this, but if you are, it's a bit weird. Let's not talk about it. What a guy. He spent so long on that tooth. He said, "Nuh-uh, sister, we're not doing this again." And he fixed it for me. And we love him for it.
We're so happy about it. Okay, I am pleased to tell you that Mercury is not in the microwave. However, it is going to be in approximately 8 days' time. So we'll have one good week.
One good week,
and
guys.
And then we'll flip it back.
Use these 8 days wisely, girls, because let me tell you, Mercury's going in the microwave in 8 days' time. Oh, God. I don't actually normally feel that, but I do definitely sometimes.
I do.
Do you? That's
yeah,
so
no, do you know what? Me and my best friend, we have this thing where we're like, Mercury is in the microwave. We just know it, and it always is.
Interesting.
Apart from today.
What's it meant to do when Mercury's in the microwave? What does it? What happens?
Honestly, everything just goes wrong for me.
Oh God!
Like it just feels terrifying. Like life is flipped upside down.
If I think about this week, and how much it's been flipped upside down, and then consider,
I feel like it can only get better, to be honest.
Well, no, because then Mercury's going in the microwave in 8 days' time. What on earth? You saw me today, and me like I was a puddle of anxiety. What am I going to be like in 8 days' time? 8 days' time. Tell me. Riddle me that.
Yeah.
I am going to be a dead house plant.
Look forward to it.
I'm going to be like one of those house plants. That's going to be me. Just, oh God. Oh no. I am seriously though. I am just an overcomplicated house plant. I just need food and water and sometimes
we love you for it.
Just sing to me, Because you meant to sing to plants, aren't you?
We did have to have some reassuring chats today, didn't we? Some deep breathing.
Yeah.
Some you're going to be okay. It's all fine.
Yeah. Sometimes I just get a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you know, you know.
Do you know what I knew? I knew it was a bad time as well, because you were just going, yep, yep, yep.
Well, it's because you were like, are you okay? I was like, yep. Are you sure? And I said, nope.
But we pulled it back.
No, we did
pull
it back.
The episode, and everything's onwards and upwards from here.
I had to drive out for an emergency this afternoon, and I drove there.
This podcast nearly didn't make it.
I don't want to talk about it.
Anyway,
Anyway,
why, Aimee?
I can't talk about it. But I drove to said emergency, feeling so anxious, like wanted to cry. Was trying to deep breathe myself. I was trying to deep breathe. I was listening to music. I was fresh air. I was trying to. I just couldn't shake it, and I don't often feel that way, but it got me today. And when and then sorted out whatever I needed to sort out, got back in the car, and it was so bad. I just cut all the music off, and I just drove home in silence like this, thinking like breathe. And then you messaged me and you said, are you still okay with the podcast? Like, all good? How are you feeling? And I was like, yep. And then you were like, are you sure? And I put, nope. Because I was just like, it was not a fun time, but I have bounced back. Shout out to Aimee with the 3s for being such a wonderful friend. And here we are. And a beautiful podcast has been filmed. So all good in the hood. And on that note, that is the end of the episode. We will see you next week. Thank you so much for listening. Love you. Bye.